Hello. In this video, I'll be discussing the unstructured interview, one of many qualitative research methods that can be helpful in human performance technology. In qualitative methodology, an unstructured interview would be a relatively unfocused consultation with the client compared to a structured or semi-structured kind of interview. The idea is that by asking strategic but informal questions that are not obviously formatted, one can still kind of leave the interview and still have a clear idea and glean very good data about what the client needs, developing a successful intervention without imposing problematic restraints on the data that's being collected. The top five benefits of an unstructured interview are, for one thing, they provide direct experience of users and stakeholders or employees or other personnel. That's very helpful in getting to an intervention. Also, unstructured interviews can provide insight into the politics that can affect the solutions or interventions that you come up with. That's very important. Organizations have politics. Every organization does. And so an unstructured interview can really uh, help with getting certain hints about that. Interviewers have more flexibility in how they can word a question or how they probe for details than in other different kinds of or different styles of interviewing. A fourth benefit is that the unstructured interview can reveal certain issues that the interviewer may not have even considered before. Politics, as mentioned before, that's one example. And those things may not have been asked about in a different, more structured kind of interview. The unstructured interviews also can provide important insights as far as the design of other iterations of interviews or surveys. That's because it basically generates so much analyzable data that it can inform the next round if there's another round of interviews or other phases of the project. That unstructured interview excuse me, unstructured interview information can be used in those other phases of the project. The top five detriments um, are as follows. One could be a great conversationalist, but in an unstructured interview, if it's done improperly, you can come up with bad data, or you can sour the working relationship, um, allow, which will actually impede having more information or better data to work with. Uh, Another thing about unstructured interviews is that even small studies generate huge amounts of qualitative data, and the analysis and interpretation of that data can be pretty time consuming. Taking notes during an unstructured interview also can be difficult because a participant may be talkative or may digress or ramble. That's part of the conversational part of the interviews, and that's a great thing unless it starts to get in the way of really bringing all of this information together. Unstructured interviews also have no set format, and so each interview is its own fingerprint. It's a unique event that requires a skilled and experienced interviewer. That goes back to number one. It's the fact of being talkative or being a great conversationalist is not necessarily going to yield a great, um, reliable kind of data in terms of quality. The fifth possible detriment for unstructured interview is that the information generated is unique, as we mentioned before, and therefore cannot be replicated or falsified or repeated. Each interview is extremely different, um, even if it's the same person or group of people. They may have new thoughts that they bring to the table in a different interview. So these are the ins and outs and the ups and downs of an unstructured interview. I hope you found this presentation very helpful. Thank you.